You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 19th, 2022 meeting of the Michigan City Board of Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Michigan City Board of Works and Safety to order this 19th day of September 2022. President or Mayor Dwayne Perry, Michael Vincent, and myself, Virginia Keating, we have quorum. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular hybrid Zoom meeting of September 6, 2022. Are there any corrections?
None here, Madam Chair.
No, I make a motion, we approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for road closure. Lucia Bim Mary is requesting permission to do a special Corpus Christi procession to honor Jesus in the Eucharist on Sunday, June 11, 2023, from Queen of All Saints Church, 606 South Woodland Avenue to St. Mary's, Buffalo, and 10th Street, with one traffic lane for walking. Is there anyone here to address us?
Good morning.
Would you state your name and address,
Yes.
please?
My name is Lucia Bemerl. My office address is 606 South Woodland Avenue. I work for Queen of All Saints Church. Do you also need my home address as well? Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, very good. And we're here to petition for a special procession, a church procession on June 11, 2023, so it'd be next summer, from Queen of All Saints to St. Mary's Church. This will be a dual event for both parishes. It's a 2-mile walk. And we'd like to request a one lane of traffic to be closed so that we can process rather than being on the sidewalk, which would be limited for the amount of people that we're expecting, to actually use one lane of traffic with a police officer in the front, helping to block the traffic, and then someone from the rear as well.
Captain Lineski.
Morning, Captain Jeff Lineski, Michigan State Police Department. We have spoken, and originally the request was just for one officer. I suggested that they actually have 2 officers, one to follow up the rear so nobody runs into the back of the procession, and one in front to block the intersections as they go. I think as long as they keep the group tight, 2 should be sufficient. I've also asked that she consider hiring off-duty officers or maybe officers that are part of her parish to perform this task, since we're kind of understaffed at our department right now. But we would recommend approval.
Thank you. Are there any public comments? Any board comments?
Just a question, Ms. Marie, do you intend on following Captain Lineski's suggestion?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, motion to approve.
Before I second, this, if I understand right, this is not a full street closure, but a rolling closure. Yep.
Thank you.
Pending.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Yeah, you need a certificate of
Yes,
insurance.
yes, we spoke with our insurance company, which is Gallagher Bassett, which actually insures the entire diocese of Cary. And they said they can provide insurance as of April 1st, 2023, when the insurance policy renews.
And if I understood Captain Lineski correctly, also pending them securing their own off-duty officers.
Yes,
We have a motion in a second, and I'll
yes.
vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Next item on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding. The Michigan City Sanitary District is requesting approval of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Michigan City and the Michigan City Sanitary District for accounting services to be rendered by the Controller's Office in the amount of $22,500 on an annual basis at the end of each year commencing in 2023. Does anybody want to address this?
Madam President, this is just an annual contract that we have with the sanitary district. I believe the amount went up slightly from previous years, but this is just an annual agreement we have.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Any board comment?
Did you have anything you wanted to add to it, Yvonne?
No.
Okay. She started to get up. No, I have no comment or questions.
All right, any comments over here? Then.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call for the vote, Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is another memorandum of understanding. The Michigan City Redevelopment Commission is requesting approval of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Michigan City through the Michigan City Board of Works regarding accounting services to be rendered by the Controller's Office in the amount of $6,600 on an annual basis at the end of each year commencing in 2023. Amber, you want to?
Sure, Madam President, this is same as the last issue with a slight increase in the annual amount.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Any board comment?
I'm here.
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'm going to call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for street closure. John Stimley is requesting permission to close 7th and 8th down Franklin Street from 4:30 to 5:30 PM on October 29th, 2022 for the Michael Jackson Thriller Dance. We've done this before, Captain.
Yes, this has been an annual event in the past. I don't think they had it last year, but it's been an event in the past. They're requesting that Franklin Street be closed from 7th to 8th Street for a half hour to film this dance. So we would recommend approval.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Is there any board comment?
None here.
Motion to approve.
Support.
We'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request to solicit bids approval of lease. Sean Smith, Street Department is requesting to solicit bids to lease a 2022 backhoe.
Excuse me, Madam Chair. I really apologize for the interruption, but the clerk Nyla just pointed out to me that the Thriller Dance, like always, needs pending insurance certificates of them. Oh, you got it already?
No.
No, we need it.
Okay.
Okay.
You need that as well.
Amend your motion then,
It was
before we take
Mr.
it.
Vincent's motion.
Yeah, I'll amend my motion pending certification of insurance.
Second.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, we'll take up your petition here now.
Good morning, Sean Smith, Michigan City Street Director, 1801 Kentucky Street. I'm here today to request the approval to lease a backhoe loader to perform emergency road repairs. This will be a lease to purchase not to exceed $180,000.
And have you reviewed the bid packet, Amber?
Yes, I assisted Mr. Smith putting it together.
All right. Is there any public comment?
Oh, yeah. Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. It's nice that we're getting all this equipment, but we don't really have enough room to keep storing this stuff. And I've been doing some research. I even been out in Newton County and look at their facilities. They store all their equipment on the inside. And I was going to address the board. I probably will do it next month, but you really need to look into getting the street department a new building. We have stuff sitting outside in the rain and the elements. We can't keep functioning like this. It don't make sense. They need a new building down there and they need to be separated. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any board comments?
None here, Madam Chair.
No, I'll make a motion, we approve.
Support.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request to solicit quotes. Sean Smith, Street Department is requesting to solicit quotes for an asphalt hot box. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm requesting to also solicit quotes for an asphalt patch recycler.
I assisted putting this together with Mr. Smith as well.
Any public comments? Any board comments?
None here, Madam Chair.
No, I make a motion, we approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Vincent?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a request for road closure. Kevin Craigbine Walsh Herzog is requesting a street closure of Sheridan Avenue between 10th Street and north of Woodlawn Avenue from September 19th, 2022 for 5 to 6 weeks to install utilities and crossings for the double tracking project. Have anybody here? Nothing? Brad, why don't you go ahead?
Good morning, Board. Brad Minnick, Premier Engineers, Crown Point. So you should have in front of you a map that details the detour route, picks up traffic on Ohio Street, carries it across 8th Street to Willard Avenue, and then returns it back to 10th Street. Just part of the ongoing double track project. Dates related to this, in terms of their progress, they were looking at opening up Ohio Street the 1st of next month, I believe, the 1st of October. And according to the last update, they're going to be done with the Michigan City portion of work in November. So,
Captain Lineski, you want to just say something about this detour route?
Yes, I did speak with Mr. Kickabine last week, and he assured us that I think Ohio Street would be open. And I think they were planning on opening Kentucky Street. If that hasn't already happened, they were going to close Tennessee in exchange for that. So we're going to recommend approval of this.
Thank you very much. Is there any public comment? Is there any board comments?
I'd like to make a motion, we approve.
Pending the opening of Ohio and Kentucky Street and the closing of Tennessee per this detour route that was presented. I'll second that.
Okay, then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for road closure. Pierre Twier, representing Bolt for the Heart, 15147 Grassy Creek, Carmel, Indiana, is requesting a street closure of Lakeshore Drive at Washington Park from Krieger Avenue to Blaine Street to Lake Avenue to Lakeshore Drive to Colfax Avenue, and Colfax to Stop 9 and back on Saturday, October 29th, 2022, from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. for a 5K and 10K walk run to raise funds to equip emergency vehicles with AEDs.
So this is an annual request. This is the same route that we've used as previous years. With this year's event, we hope to finish out the rest of our fleet with AEDs. So these AEDs have been provided to our department no cost as a result of the funds that have been raised from this event over the last couple of years. So we would recommend approval.
Thank you. Amber, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't.
Is there a comment from the public? Any comment from the public? Any board comment?
Is there an insurance certificate?
Yes, there is, it's all in order.
Motion to approve pending submittal of the insurance
No,
certificate.
it's all in order.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Motion to
second.
approve.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is the request for road closure. Kevin Dwayne Nick D is requesting a street closure to replace railroad tracks, asphalt surface, and ties at Woodland Avenue grade crossing to be replaced starting at 6:30 a.m. to 5:00 p.m. on October 10th, 2022 through October 21st, 2022. This is not part of the double tracking project. Is there anybody here that wishes to address this? Brad, are you able to?
Well,
Board,
now
what do
that-
you want to do?
Detour routes in place.
October 10th, we have one more meeting before that.
So this, like I said, this is not part of the double track project. This is
Right.
just a project to resurface the crossing at that location. So it's required work. There's plenty of cross streets to the east and west of there to take the detour. So we would recommend approval of this request.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a request for road closure. John Kramer, HRP Construction, is requesting a 5-day street closure in mid-October to install a permanent culvert closing Prior Road to through traffic between 212 and Muir Road. Project is located at White Ditch where traffic will not be allowed to cross. Is there anybody who can address this? Mr. Kramer, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We're requesting a 5-day street closure in mid-October to install a permanent culvert as part of the clearing project for the sanitary district of Michigan City. This request was asked earlier this year, but due to the amount of work and the weather, we were not able to get to it. So this is the same detour, same plan that we had back in May. We're just moving the timeline to this October.
Thank you, Captain.
We would recommend approval of the request.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Board have any comments?
Make a motion, we approve.
Support.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is a contract approval, a contract between the City of Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety for the benefit of Michigan City Police Department for flock safety agreement in the amount of $197,500 for 1 year with a reoccurring cost of $187,000. Good morning.
Good morning, Marty Corley, Chief Operations, Michigan City Police Department. Here, reference approval of contract for flock safety system will give us 30 automated license plate readers plus 4 miles of Braven audio detection.
Can you explain where these are going to be placed, or is that still up in the air?
That's still up in the air. We're working with Flock right now on the exact placement of our 30 cameras, but we do pretty much have the 4 mile radius area pretty much figured out.
Does Flock monitor this, or does the police department monitor?
We monitor.
You have the equipment for that.
Yeah, so along with in that is a software and the licenses to integrate that with our laptops and also to give us the advanced search that goes along with the equipment that we will be leasing.
Has the council approved funding for this?
Yes, sir.
Amber, do you have anything you wish to say?
Other than I did work with Flock and their attorney and asked multiple questions that went back and forth regarding this. And at this point, I think we have the final contract put together and I'd recommend approval.
Is there any public comment? Any board comments?
I think this is critical. This is critical expenditure.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a request for road closure. Kevin Craig Bang Walsh Herzog is requesting a street closure of 10th Street between Huron and Willard Avenue for removal of the old NICD Amtrak crossing from October 31st, 2022 for 2 weeks, starting at 7 a.m. And is there anybody here? Brad, can you address this?
Brad Minnick, Premier Engineers, just another element of the double track project. And then with his duration, that'll push until the middle of November for that crossing.
Captain?
I did get a chance to look at the detours. Again, this is all part of the next phase of the next road closures, so we'd recommend approval.
Thank you. Any public comment? Any board comments?
None here.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is another request for a street closure. Terry Greetham, Director of Special Events, is requesting a street closure for the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade, Saturday, March 11th, 2023, from 11:45 a.m. to 3 p.m. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Terry Greetham, Michigan City Special Events. This is an annual event. The details of this event follow the same parameters as last year's event.
Are there any board comments? Any public comments? Then I'll call for the motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is another request for street closure. Terry Greetham, Director of Special Events, is requesting a street closure for the annual Michigan City Kitty Parade, Saturday, June 24th, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You're really getting ahead of yourself, aren't you?
Yes, I am. But and the reason for that obviously is I want to hopefully lessen the burden on the clerk's office. But more importantly, get our schedule out as soon as possible and start the process for finding sponsors for our events.
Okay, and is this the same plan?
Yes, exact same plan as last year.
Captain, do you have anything to say? Okay, all right, then is there any public comment? Is there any board comment?
None here, Madam Chair.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
Now call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next is also a request for street closure. Terry Greetham, Director of Special Events, is requesting a street closure for the annual Michigan City Patriotic Parade, Saturday, July 1st, 2023, from 6:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Again, exact same parameters as last year.
Is there any public comment? Any board comments?
None here, Madam Chair.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda is once again a street closure for Terry Greetham, Director of Special Events, is requesting a street closure for the annual Michigan City Festival of Lights Parade, Saturday, December 2nd, 2023, from 3:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Terry,
Same parameters as last year.
any public comment? Any board?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the roll. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Next item on the agenda is a request for street closure. Brett St. Germain, Michigan City High School, is requesting a street closure from the Elston parking lot west on Ripley Street to Franklin Street to Ames Field for the annual Michigan City High School Homecoming Parade on Friday, October 7th, 2022, beginning at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Is there anybody here that will address this? Do you want to make a comment? Is it public comment? Just 1 second. Captain,
Yes, I have spoken with Mr. St. Germain. This is the same route as previous years. We've never really had problems with the route. We'll have plenty of officers out there that night for this and the homecoming games, so we would recommend approval.
thank you. Tommy,
Tommy Kolavic, 1316 Ohio Street. Michigan City will be hosting our cross-county rival LaPorte that night. So I just want to say, go Wolves, beat the Slicers.
thank you. Is there any other public comment? Board comments?
Just that we need a certificate of insurance from the school system. Do we have it already?
We have it already.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. The next item is a dedication of road request. Barry McDonald, attorney at law, is requesting dedication of 20 feet wide by 320 feet long street, which is commonly known as Blaine Street in Blaine subdivision into the city street inventory. Good morning.
Good morning, Skylar York, Director of Planning. This is a subdivision that was completed by the Plan Commission, and the street is already built, is Blaine Street, but that subdivision, the piece of land that was subdivided, was just a simple meets and bounds and never been subdivided before. So once it went through the subdivision process, they actually gave us 20 feet wide, 320 feet long, which is actually it squares off Blaine Street. It's already built. They did not ask for sidewalk waivers, so that will be required of them to build at a time when they start building. So it's a pretty easy one. They're not building any new streets. We're simply getting what's should have been ours in the first, really should have been ours in the first place. So, but they never subdivided. So we're just kind of cleaning it up, if you will.
Thank you. What did you want to say?
No, I don't have a problem with this request.
I did have Brad review this. You should have a letter that you received from Brad, Mr. Minnick. Since he's our acting city engineer, typically he would sit on the city engineer would sit on our board, but since he's the acting city engineer contractually, I had him go and review it just to make sure that everything's good. So.
Okay. Brad, did you want to make any comments?
Brad Minnick, Premier Engineers, the letter I sent last week supports the dedication of the street as described.
Okay, then is there any public comment? Any board comment?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Support?
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you both. Next item on the agenda is the payroll docket for September 9th, 2022. City payroll of $647,187.84. And the claims docket of September 19th, 2022. Municipal $915,852.58. CDBG, that's Community Development Block Grant of $58.60. Health and Life Insurance Fund of $19,306.86. Zero in Workers' Comp Trust. Total claims $1,055,218.04. So here are motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the payroll docket and claims docket as read.
Support?
And I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the unfinished business pending items list. First item on the list is Jose Garcia Fork in the Road is requesting a mobile food vendor license application approval to sell Mexican foods, tacos, burritos, and nachos located behind Arcadia, no longer in business. Tuesdays through Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. This was placed on the agenda because we needed certain information such as the exact location, signage, photos of advertisement, and there were also the question of the truck being moved at the end of the business day. Amber, have you received the information you needed?
I believe the clerk's office sent a letter to them, to Mr. Garcia, and asked that this be submitted by September 14th. I have not received anything, and I don't believe the clerk's office has either.
Then what is the board's pleasure?
Make the motion, this be denied.
I'll second.
And then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda, Gail Nyland, City Clerk, is requesting clarification of procedures regarding the horizontal directional drill. That's the HDD policy. I believe there was a meeting on September 19th or September 12th regarding this matter, was there not?
There is. I'm going to be working on putting some changes together to our policy based on that meeting. I hope to have them ready at the first meeting in October.
View this on until the first meeting in October. Okay, next item on the agenda is Davis Bush, 2409 Ohio Street, is requesting a stop sign at Ohio Street and Indiana Avenue to help slow down traffic for public safety. We placed this on the pending items list because there was an issue regarding the cost of a lighted sign. I believe it's the 15 mile an hour sign.
Yes, so all the improvements at this intersection have been made. The crosswalk has been repainted. The 15-mile-an-hour school zone signs have been installed. The only thing we were waiting for was an estimate on the solar-powered flashing pedestrian signs. And I believe Mr. Smith can probably speak to the cost of that.
I received several estimates for these school signs. They're actually valued at $2,000 a piece, so it'll be a total of $4,000.
Is there any public comment here? Board,
None here, Madam Chair. Motion.
doing motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Thank you all. Next item on the agenda is Attorney Joseph Zachnoin on behalf of the the MC Acreage LLC is donating undeveloped land near the intersection of Barker Road and Eddy Street, as is subject to easements and restrictions of record. Amber, I believe that you and Skylar were going to review this and come back with a recommendation.
So we have reviewed it. We reviewed all the easements on it. But in the meantime, there have been other entities that Skylar has had communication with that may be a better fit for the donation of this land. So we have passed that information on to Attorney Zachnoin. So at this point, I mean, either the board could continue tabling this to make sure those other entities are in fact interested and Attorney Zachnoin's client does want to donate to them. Or we could deny it this time. But like I said, I think it may be a better fit with other entities versus just coming to the city right now.
Good morning, board. Skylar York, Director of Planning. I agree with Amber that it would be more the organizations I've reached out to seems to be a better fit for this piece of land and with the easements and then the future use of it, etc. They would probably get better use out of it than we would as a governmental organization.
Amber, is this a definitive denial?
You see the hesitation in me. It's really up to this board. If you wanted to leave it on one more month, I don't have a problem one more month to see if that arrangement works out. And then
The issue is the other organizations that are interested have to go kind of through similar processes that we do, a board, vote, etc. It's just a little time, they still have to do their thing as well. So it's not going to hurt anything to leave it on one more time if you want,
Okay.
but if you want to deny it, that's fine as well. So.
But you said it has basically no value to Michigan City.
Not to a governmental, it would be hard for us to use it as a governmental organization. Absolutely. It'd be more appropriate for another nonprofit probably, just for ease of use and just, if they keep it natural or something like that. It just becomes cumbersome for government to manage, take care, things that absolutely.
What's the board's pleasure?
If we have no vested interest in this, I don't see any reason why we should leave it on. I'll just make a motion, we deny.
Support.
Then I'll call for the vote. Mayor Perry,
Aye.
Mr. Vincent,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Next item on the agenda, Brad Minnick, Premier Engineering Limited is requesting a fee proposal for Woodland Avenue crash analysis. And this was on our pending items list because Brad, you were going to bring a analysis report to us.
Yes, you should have the report in front of you. Basically took a look at the 89 crashes and categorized them in terms of severity and also frequency and location. So that's basically one piece of the puzzle for the Woodland Avenue corridor. And we'll finish up that report and have it completed. You've got the executive summary in front of you with some recommendations on future measures. One question I have for the board, I'm not sure if you guys would know what is programmed for this corridor at this time. Do you have anything in the plans for future developments there or future improvements on the
Not
roadway?
at this time, I'm looking for a head nod from Mr. York. From Cool, we're talking from Cool Spring to Barker Road, right? Or no, we're talking from Greenwood to Cool Spring.
Both.
Okay,
Yeah,
widening.
basically what we looked at was from US 20 all the way up to Michigan Boulevard in an overview capacity, but the majority of the accidents that we were looking at were in those areas that you discussed. But really, it's not practical or merited to do a center turn lane throughout that whole corridor. We're just looking at isolated fixes to resolve the rear end crashes. So now knowing that you don't have anything programmed, that gives me a little bit more flexibility rather than plan something that's not or that's in conflict with something that's already in the works. Okay, and then I think the best way to describe it is the crash data is one piece of the puzzle. The signal timing, which I can request from Midwest, is another piece of timing. Make sure the signals along that corridor are in correct time to handle the traffic, particularly peak times of the day. And then the final piece would be traffic volume data, which would not be available from Midwest. But the last thing I want to do is turn this into a research project, right? I want to get this to proposed fixes. So I'll have the completed report available probably the second meeting in next month for you guys to review, and then we could talk about where do we go for next steps from there.
Skylar?
I was just gonna say at this point in time, there are no more subdivisions or development with respect to that the section of road we're talking about. But during the subdivision process, we did get an extra chunk of right of way. So and I'm sure Mr. Minnick's aware of that, and he'll take that in consideration. So I'll just kind of rely on his recommendation. But as of right now, nothing new in that corridor, if you will.
Thank you. Okay, then let's keep this on pending our business.
May I make a comment to everybody, council comment? Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not wanting to kick a can down the road, but this is a major project. It goes all the way back to 1966 when a municipal group out of Chicago, and we have the records here in the archives, did a study for Michigan City that they said by 1990, Michigan City was going to hit 80,000, which it didn't. But to alleviate the traffic flow issues that we have on Franklin Street that we know we really have today, and now with the double track and the rework that's going to have to be done in areas in the Midtown section area part of town, like Pine Street now being closed off because of the landing platforms. I would suggest we table this till probably March or April of next year, because one of the recommendations was that to eliminate the traffic problems on Franklin, that Woodland and Ohio Street both be made 4 lanes all the way from the South City limits to as far north as we could make it. So this is a major project. This land acquisition, this is, and it needs to be done. I want to see it done. But right now, to try to move forward in any aspect on this, we're running out of time. You know, the asphalt plants are going to be closing, and we got to try to get Paz Road paved. So I would suggest we table this till March of next year.
Brad, is it just your report that you're talking about today?
Right, just a report with recommendations. So a couple things. If Walsh Herzog holds to their schedule, we'll be looking at final traffic configurations as a result of double track project. Say the 1st of December, right? So we're a long ways from a set of plans to build.
Okay.
So the asphalt plant's closing and then picking back up. Again, as a recovering contractor, April 15th was always their kickoff date. So we're a ways out from that, but that's an opportunity between the 1st of December and the spring to study the new traffic patterns and take counts and have a better opportunity to hit the ground running for next year rather than just hold off till the spring. Would be just something to think about between now.
I was just expressing my thoughts. In no way am I trying to diminish the importance of what you're doing.
Sure.
No, your report is very important, so we need to move forward on that.
Okay, so the Brad has recommended that we keep this on the agenda until the second.
Absolutely.
I mean, October. Is that right?
Correct. Second meeting on October, I'll have the final report.
Madam Chair, if I could ask Brad one more question. I know there's a lot of unknowns, but do we know what's going to happen in that industrial park there with their growth? Are we taking that into account, consideration for traffic patterns? No, we can't just ask FedEx and the other entities and their future plans, but maybe they've shared that with us.
None that I know. If Mr. York can comment, and none at this time.
Okay.
So we'll leave it on.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The last item on the pending items unfinished business list is Radney McCormick, request for cameras and security lights in neighborhoods 11th, 10th, and York Streets for safety. I have to think that this ties in with the Flock contract that we have. I don't know, Rodney has stepped out. I'm not sure if there's anything in additional he's talking about. Rodney, we're addressing your request for cameras and security lights in the neighborhoods.
Still need them. I guess we got the flock going up now and still need cameras, still have problems on Lake Estates and other things. I hope we can get something done about it.
Okay.
So, it seems like the city's working on it right now. Police department's on getting on top of it, the city council, but it's taking a long time, so still have a lot of stuff going on, and I just don't heart bad.
Okay. All right. Well, what you're suggesting is we wait to see the shakeout with Flock. Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to leave this on the agenda?
Yes, please, Madam Chair.
That concludes the unfinished business pending items list. And that also includes the business portion of this meeting. We're now going to move into public comment. Before we do that, I want to remind everybody that the public comment section on the agenda is reserved for matters that do not require board action. Any matter requiring board action will not be discussed under the public comment section of the Board of Works meetings. All matters that require board action must be placed on the agenda using the forms and procedures available at the clerk's office. And that being said, I'll also like to remind everyone that public comment is listed 3 minutes. Okay, all comments to be addressed to the board president, not to individual board members, and all comments must be germane and within the mandate and authority of the board. Go ahead, Tommy.
Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. First, I want to say, God keep the king. She's being laid to rest at this time. Queen Elizabeth II. Secondly, I want to express my gratitude to Mayor Perry and the board for listening to my concern last week about all the excess county property. I should call them abandoned county properties. That's all. I've worked with Councilman Earl Cunningham on this, and It's all gonna be taken care of. They're gonna compile lists, their outside vendor, SRI Realty, they're gonna compile lists of these properties and they're all gonna be auctioned off. They're gonna compile lists, they're gonna set a date for the sale. There's a lot of, probably gonna be a lot of good properties in Michigan City. They're kind of small vacant lots. Then they're gonna set a bid price and you're gonna pay 15% on top of the bid price, and you're gonna be issued a quick claim deed for those properties. These might be a good property for have a lot for your children to go play on, or to have your families come over and have a barbecue or picnic. I just want to thank, also on the 8th and Wabash property. I'm happy they removed all the signage from the property. All those offices closed. There's no need to keep the signs up. I'm also told Earl the lights on the complex. I drove by last night. I go to Blue Chip to collect on my bet. The lights were still on. I came back, rode by this morning. The lights were still on, both inside and out. I came to the meeting this morning. The lights were still on in the daytime, but I think the lights are staying on there 24/7. So I told Earl they need to maybe put those lights on some timers, because it's costing the county some money. I just want to mention all that. Thank you.
Thank you for doing that. Any other comments?
Rodney McCormick. I'm here as the chair of the Michigan City Housing Authority. I just want to thank the city for helping us out. Skylar and his inspection office has helped us out a lot with trying to get control of all of our abandoned housing and issues that we're having in Lakeland Estates and other areas in the city. I want to personally apologize to the city and all the citizens. Right now, we are probably the worst landlords in the city. We have failed the city and the tenants. We're trying to do better. We are going to do better. Good news is I'm assuming that we will have our attorney here very soon, and we will get down to it. I hope that you guys will continue to allow the inspectors to work with us. Let us know of code violations and all of those things, but we also need help with the safety. We have a lot of issues going on. I don't want to reharp it. You know what's going on, Mr. Mayor. We need more than just one officer trying to help us out. The tenants they have the right to have public safety. We don't have it in our budget right now. And even if it shouldn't come down to us, our budget, our finances. They are city residents, and we need to step up to patrol, especially in Lakeland Estates. I'm begging you to please sit down with us at the board, and let's work out a plan to where we can stop the violence that's going on. A lot of it resonates directly from Lakeland Estates. Please, we need to work with you guys. We need help. We need help.
We'll do that, Mr. McCormick.
We appreciate it.
We're with you. We want to have the best facility in the state of Indiana. That's our goal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Then is there any board comments?
None here, Madam Chair.
No, I'll make a motion. We adjourn.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mayor Perry.
Aye.
Mr. Vincent.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you all.